In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can set up your own Whop community from scratch. Whether you're launching a paid membership, digital course, or exclusive group, this step-by-step guide will help you get set up and ready to launch. So let's get started. Alright, so first of all is that you want to go here into the website of Whop to set up your account, or you could use the link in the description. Once you're here is that you can sign up using your email, your Discord account, Google account, or Apple account. Or you could log in if you already have an account by clicking right here and providing your login details. Once you're signed in Whop, you will now be prompted in here into your home page and should look something like this, except that you won't have these Whops yet. So what you want to do from here to set up your community is that you would want to click here on Marketplace. Now in here, you want to click here and create a Whop. And from here is that you just basically would want to fill this up right here. So we would want to create a new dashboard right here. So we'll be seeing our previous communities right here, or Whops that we have created. But as for this one, we'll be creating a whole new dashboard, so it will not be connected to this. So click here on continue. Now in here is that you want to name your Whop. So as for this one, I'm just going to name this tutorial fitness community, something like that, and then click here on continue. And after that, you will now be able to choose your Whop link. So as for this one, I'm just going to customize it right here, right there. So we now have our own unique Whop link, and then click here and continue once you're done. And then you will now be able to build your Whop community right here. So it is now built. Now all that's left is to set it all up with all the features that we would need in our community. So in here, it's inviting us to install our first app. So we're going to click here. And then we will now be able to install the apps right here. So basically, these are all the features that you would need on your community. So basically, the apps here are your features in your Whop community. And you have everything that you need right here. But in some rare cases, is that you might find that there is something missing right here. If that's the case, then you can click here on request app. And then you could request an app to the developer to create one for you. But you would need to apply. So that is a whole other process. But yeah, I think everything that you need right here is already here in the Whop applications. So the first thing that we're going to install is the chat, because as a community, we would need to communicate. So of course, we would need chat. So we're going to click here on add. And from here is that we will now be able to configure our chat in here, and then you'd be able to see here community. We have our general chat, and then now you can configure that. You can click here on the three dots, and then you could go for the app settings. Now, in here, you can change the icon right here, or you could go for custom. You can upload your own icon for this chat if you want to. But I think with this one, I'm satisfied with this. I'm just going to go for green, and you could select your emojis if you'd want to. But actually, I'm satisfied with that one right here with just this default icon. And then I'm just going to change the name. So let's say all chat or general chat, basically the same thing. So basically, all of the users or members in this community would be able to chat in here freely. And here in the description, I'm just going to say that everyone can send a message here. Just take note of their rules, make sure to follow them. Maybe something like that. And from here, for the visibility, I'm going to keep it visible. But if you'd want this chat to be paid, so the members here would need to pay an additional fee in order for them to access this, you can go for locked. And from here, you can click here on paid one time, and then you can set the price in here, the currency, and then where should this be upsold. You can go for after checkout or before, or only display in this Whop, whatever it is that you want. So let's go for after checkout. And then you could also go for expiration if you'd want to. And as you can see right there, and then you also have the iOS screenshot protection if you'd want. So as for this one, I'm just going to go keep it visible since I would want everyone to send a message in here. So I'm going to click here on save. And now we now have it all set up right here for this community chat. And now I can send a message for an example, and as you can see, it will now be sent in here, and then other users would be able to do so. You could also go into configure chat, wherein you can see the permissions in here on what they can do, like who can react, who can post. You can block URLs if they send some URLs. In this way, you'd be able to filter them. Then you could also block media so that they wouldn't be able to send some medias, because they might send inappropriate medias in your chat, which would make it really messy and unethical. And you have your user call done for sending message right here. You can set it up and many other options. All right, we're now done with our first app. Next is that I would want to add another app by clicking here on add app button, or the plus button here again. And this time I want to go for forums, because I would want to make announcements, and this is where I will be making them. And in here, as you can see, we can now write something in here. And then you could also configure the forums right here. So again, you have your options in here on the settings of your forum of whatever you'd want it to be. So as for this one, is that here in the configure forum is that I'm going to add my banner image first. So I'm going to click here on upload image, and then just simply choose my image in here. So I'll just select my image, which is this one, click on open, and then it will now be uploaded as my banner image. And you just need to wait for it to load, and here it is. It's now uploaded, and then from here you will now be able to see that. And then when you go back in here in the forums, as you can see, we now have it right here. Now we can write something as our first announcement. Let's say, hi, welcome to my community. Right there. And then you could also add a photo, GIF, and then you could also click here on this button so that you'd be able to set a price for this post. So you can charge your users a price to unlock this post if you'd want to. So this is another upsell strategy for you if you'd want. So you could set a price for your post and click here on post once you are now satisfied with that, and then you'll now have it right here. All right, so now I am all good with that. And next is that I'm going to go into here into the app settings again, and I'm going to rename this. I'm going to go and rename this into announcements again, right there. And then here in the description, I'll just simply go for this is where I put all the announcements. I think that's good. And this one is not paid, so I'm going to go make it visible for all the members and click here on visible. Right there. I think I'm satisfied with that. And next is that I'm going to add a course. You can absolutely do that here in Whop. Click here again on the add app. And now we're going to go into course. So for this one, we're going to go paid. So we would want to earn. So we're going to click here on add. And then now we'll now be able to set up our course. And from here, we can click on begin setup. And now we will now be able to go for the configure courses options right here. Click on create your course. And the title in here, let's say that I'm going to go for weight loss guide right there, and click on next. And then here in the description is that just simply input a description of this course. So let's say that this is the guide you need to get your weight loss let's say program to the next level. I think that is enough. So yeah, you can just put in the description or whatever you'd want. Just be creative with it. All right, once you're done with that, you'll now be prompted in here. So from here, we can now upload our image again. So you can click on randomize image if you'd want to, or you can upload your own right here. Again, if you'd want, you can select your own image right here. And from here, you can now go here into your course chapters and lessons. So you can create as many chapters as you'd want, and then you could also create as many lessons as you'd want in your chapters. So here in chapter 1, let's say here in lesson 1, I would want to go and upload a video right here for the course. And then you can click on that, and then again, you'd be able to scan your storage for this, and then you can upload your own video. So I don't have a sample in here, so I'll just leave it be, but this is where you'd be able to upload your video for this course or for this lesson. And then from here, you can also upload some attachments. So if you'd like to add a summary guide for this lesson, you can upload it right here. And then you have your drip feeding settings. So if you don't know what a drip feeding settings is, basically it's a setting for you to be able to control when your course content becomes available to members after they purchase or get access. So instead of giving members access to all course content at once, drip feeding settings would let you schedule content to unlock gradually, for example, like one lesson per day or per week only. So as you can see, you'd be able to input the number of days right here after a user would be able to see the course or lesson. So that's it. And the same goes for the other lessons in here. Same thing that you'd be able to do. And you could add more chapter if you'd want to, just like I said earlier. And you can see the analytics right here in your course on how the users are doing or how many of them are viewing this course right here, like your students, and then your lessons, drop-off rates, and total completions. So yeah, this is basically it for the basics here in the courses and also for the basics in the app. So that's basically how you do it. Just click here and add app and just input or install the app that you would need in your community right here. So obviously I wouldn't be able to go through one by one because there is a lot and it's totally subjective on what app you will need for the purpose of your community, like what niche your community is all about. So let's say that we are now all satisfied and now we are ready for the next step. So the next step that I recommend is to edit the store page in here. So you want to click here on edit store page. Now in here, you can now upload your media and other things right here. So basically this is the first thing that the customer would be able to see when they click on your community, when they see it in the marketplace or when they have searched for it. So make sure that this is a total banger. So let me show you an example. So I'm going to go into marketplace and then from here, I'm going to go into one of these, like for example, this one. So this is their store page and this is what we're trying to create. So as you can see, we have the image and then the title, the join button, and then what other people are saying or reviews and more. So this is what we're trying to set up. So let's go back. Let's go into our Whop that we have created. So let's go into the dashboard, your Whops, and then we should see that right here. So we have the tutorial fitness community. And now in here is that we would want to go into edit store page again. And from here, we can upload our media. So I'm just going to go and upload my media again. Same thing. I'm just going to upload this one again right there so that we would have a media for an example right there. So make sure that you upload all your banger medias in there. And then once it's uploaded, you can now exit out of that and then it will load on its own. And then in here, you can now edit the details. So what's your main benefit or appeal? You can click here and edit details. Now you can upload your logo. So I'm just going to upload a sample one right here. So I have some image right here that I could use. Let's say that I'm going to go for this one as my logo, just for an example. And then you can edit the name, the headline description, and then your URL, and many more right here that you'd be able to add, like the upsells, which is also really good if you're trying to earn. So you could go for upsells, and then you could go for the title of that and upload a video of what you're trying to upsell. And now I have set up some of the options right here, like I uploaded my logo and the name, headline, and so on. So I'm going to click here now on save and see what we got. So let's see. So we can now just go back in here and we can just wait for it to load. And as you can see, it is now updated and now we have this one. And of course, you can do better than this. You can add more details than I did. And then from here, you can see the people that has joined your Whop. In my case, none of them has joined yet. So there's none that is showing in here. And in here is that Whop will also show what the customers would get if they join your community. So make sure that you rename your benefits in here, like the apps that you have installed. Like for example, I have renamed my course into the weight loss course right here. So make sure that you rename that because the customers will also see this. So that in this case, they would be able to know that they would also get this weight loss course that I am currently offering. So that would be another benefit for them, and that would entice them to get my subscription. So you can do that by clicking here on the three dots and going into app settings. And again, you can rename it right here with the other options. And next is that you can go here and update your creator details on what you would like to show them about yourself here in Whop, and then who this is for. So in here, you can create personas right here. So click here on edit persona. You can click here on add one. So essentially in here, you want to describe your target audience or ideal members. In this way, the viewers of your store page would be able to know if they fit one of your personas. So make sure that you include them right here. So for example, I think this is best for busy individuals, as I offer some guides for busy individuals so that they could still stay fit even if they are busy. And then here in the description is that you can add something like, even if you are busy, we can help you stay fit regardless. Right there, I think that's okay. So I'm going to click here on save, and now I'd be able to add it as a persona here in my store page, and you should now be able to see that right here on who this is for, and then you can add more up to 5 personas right here. And here in the pricing is also very important. So you want to set the price for joining your community. So if you don't want this to be a paid community, you want to click here on manage pricing. And here we have the free one by default. Now, if you don't want to have a free access by default, you can click here on the 3 dots. And then now you can click here on archive to remove that from the visible plans that is available. And now from here, is that we can now click here on the blue button right here at the bottom where you can create a pricing option. And from here, we can go for a one-time payment to join our community, or we could go for recurring, so it would expire. And this way, we would get monthly income or even weekly income right here. So let's say I want to go for recurring. And from here is that I would want to go and set this for $100 per month right here. And then you could also go for an initial fee. So basically what initial fee does is that this is the one-time payment that the buyer would need to pay at the first month. So if I set the subscription price at $100 and then the initial fee at $20, then the total price that they would need to pay for the first month is $120. And after that is that they would only need to pay the subscription price because this is only an initial fee. And then once you're done with that, you can go into advanced options and then you can go for the stocks. So you can basically, these are the slots. If you have limited slots on your community, if you don't want that, you can go for infinite, or you could state how many slots you've got. And then you could also input the description right here if you would want to. So this is the standard plan, maybe something like that. And then you could also offer a free trial if you'd want to. Then you can indicate how many number of days you'd like the free trial to be. Let's say I just want to go for, actually I don't want to go for a free trial. And then you could also go enable split pay or installment pay. You could offer a discount cancellation, waitlist, and questions before checkout, and add internal name and so on. So this is actually quite useful if you have a higher tier than this, than the standard one. Like for example, a VIP tier, then you could add a VIP on their name so that they would have some kind of a title inside your community, which is also great. And you could also filter them out from the standard users. And then we also have the payment methods that we could use. And as for my case, I only have the card right here because I haven't installed the PayPal and other payment methods yet. And I'll be showing you that later on how you could do that. Once you're all done, click here and create. And then you will now be able to see it right here that we now have that. And then here in the pricing, it will now be updated. So it's not yet loading. So I'm going to go here into adding a benefit right here for this pricing. Like, for example, I'm going to go for you get all the standard features right there and plus courses right here. So I think that's enough. Click on save. And now we have that benefit right there. So here we have it. We now have the pricing right here. And remember that you can always add more if you would want to. But in my case, it's only this one. And next is that you could add some FAQs and reviews if you have already. And then you could also set your affiliates right here. So basically, this is another way for you to invite affiliates into your community so that they would promote your community. And when it gets sold, they would get a percentage or commission from the earnings. So that's it here for the store page. Now, the next thing that we are going to do is that we're going to now set up our payments. So to do that, you want to go here into your dashboard. Now, in here is that you want to set up your Whop payment right here. So you want to click here, or you could also go here for payouts so that you'd be able to set up your Whop payments. So click on that, and then you'll need to select your country, for example, United States. And then it will now redirect you to your Stripe account. And then you would need to log in to your Stripe account. And you want to make sure that you would be able to verify your account if it's not yet verified. And as you can see right here is that it will now redirect me into Stripe. And again, I would need to log in. So be prepared for providing your documents like your IDs, your tax information, and so on, because it will also be required here when you're setting up your payments here in Whop. And basically, this is where you can see your balance, your additional payment methods such as PayPal and Coinbase. You could also set that up right here. And then your transfer. So this is where you can see your history. So that's it. And then you have your payments in here, which is also very important. So in here, you could get your first payment if you already have a customer. And you have your resolution center right here. So if you got any disputes, then this is where you'd be able to solve them right here, or get in touch with the customer or someone who has complaint against you. So yeah, this is basically it for my guide here on how you can set up your Whop community. And now we can test it out by copying our Whop community link right here, going to an incognito tab, and then just pasting it here. And as you can see, this is the store page that we have created here in Whop. And then when we click here on join, we wouldn't be able to continue because we haven't set up our payment methods or Whop payments. So it's really essential that you set it up first before you can start earning here in Whop for paid communities. So this is basically it for this video on how you can set up your Whop community. So check out our links in the description if you would like to try out setting up your Whop community in here. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.